Thank you. Gentlemen, I think that one of the features of our time that you will observe, assuming that you are confirmed, is that the jury, particularly the civil jury, has been dramatically diminished in its role in our society. I think if you brought the Founding Fathers back to take a look at the America of today and they looked around, the thing that might surprise them more than anything else, even more than iPads and electronic cars, is the fact that when you go to an American courtroom, particularly a federal courtroom, you so rarely see a jury sitting. That's the result of a combination of factors, but I think one of those factors is that there's some convenience to the court in not having to manage a jury trial. They require figurative and literal care and feeding. It's easy to push the magistrate to get a settlement for you and give it the chop and send everybody on their way. It is also possible in your role to allow a particularly well-heeled party to beat the dickens out of their adversary through discovery and pretrial motion practice, the so-called paper blizzard means of litigation, and drive them to settlement. Again, no access to a jury. What I note is that access to a jury was one of the casus belli of the Revolution. The Declaration of Independence declared that as one of the faults and flaws of the king. There was violent reaction to the original Constitution when it did not clarify the role of the jury, and to respond to that, they rushed to put the Seventh Amendment in place. Alexander Hamilton said that the dispute was whether the role of the jury was just a vital and important thing or whether it was the very palladium of free government. So the fight was all on the side of the importance of the civil jury. And then Blackstone, who I think probably informed the legal practice in America of the founding era more than anybody else, and subsequently de Tocqueville, who's probably been our best observer, have both pointed out how the jury as an institution provides a vitally important civic and constitutional role, including that it's the institution in the constitutional system our founding fathers set up that is specifically designated to give the little guy a chance against big concentrations of power who may hold preventive sway in the legislature, who may have a governor or executive official in their pocket. For a lot of reasons, we make sure that tampering with the jury is a crime. You get a new one every time, so you can't put the fix in with them, and everybody's supposed to get a fair shot in front of a jury. So that's a proposition that I think is well established in our history that I bring to these district court proceedings, and I would like to hear each of you comment on what you see the role of the civil jury. Is it just an adjunct to assist the court's fact-finding? Is there more to it there? Should they be active? And how will you help if you agree?
Senator Whitehouse, thank you for that question. I love juries. I love jury trials and enjoy them more than judge trials. But they're not as many. We see most of them that I see in state court with criminal cases, where they have the right to a jury. But with civil cases,
same in federal court usually. You've got the right, but in civil cases,
well, it depends on the
chief
amount.
Judge in Rhode Island, we had breakfast a year or so ago, and he said he hadn't seen a civil jury in 3 years.
Okay. And it's a lot less for sure. And I think a lot of it, I know in Louisiana we have a cutoff, just like in federal court does, for the amount pled has to be over a certain amount. And also, it's just, I think we need to work on individuals serving on the jury. You would not believe the amount of, I know when I have jury trial, say 150 people called, you just want, of course, anybody over 70 is automatically excused, and everybody else tries to get out. They don't want to do it. They're scared of it, and it's. But the expense, I think, the expense of it is what causes a lot of the problem. Why there's not as many.
Well, that's a fair point. My experience has been talking to both civil jurors and grand jurors after their service is that no one has ever regretted it after they're done. They may fear it going in, they may worry about the inconvenience, but once they actually have the chance to do it and meet that civic responsibility, they feel empowered by it, has been my experience.